All right, here we go. Jon B.
Vlad, my man.
Welcome to VladTV.
Good to see you, my friend.
Well, me and you actually go back like 15 years.
Yes, sir.
Yep, I was at your studio.
Absolutely. Came through the bodies leg. Yeah.
We were laying down some vocals, which ended up being on the Tupac Rap Phenomenon mixtape.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Which was really kind of what got me in the game.
That's what's up.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I might be working a 9 to 5 right now.
You were smashing the mixtapes back then,
I
man.
was.
Yeah, you did.
I was.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I had to grow up and get a real job. And here I am now. Hey, man, well, listen, you're looking great. Looking healthy.
You, man. Thank you, man.
Thin.
Appreciate you.
Skin looks nice.
All right.
You know, for guys that are in our mid-40s, this is, you know.
Trying to age gracefully.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we've lost a lot of our legends
at
our age.
Yes, sir.
Or younger.
Yes, sir.
So I think it's important to kind of really maintain your health.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think music has kept me young, you know, the love for what I do, the passion for what I do, and also having a beautiful family, you know, someone to love, as my song says, you know, some you know, something beautiful to, you know, kind of always reflect back to, you know, on a daily basis. I think it's kind of been a fountain of youth for me, man. I don't stress out too much other than, you know, having to leave that security of having the home that I have, that I've been blessed to be able to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. When you
Family.
look at almost every successful person, they have a strong foundation, a strong group of people in their corner.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, that explains a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is your first time actually here on Vlad TV, so let's go ahead and start in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I guess you were born in Rhode Island, but you grew up in LA.
Yes, I was born in Providence, and my dad got a job as a music professor at Cal State LA out here when I turned about 4 years old. So we moved to the West Coast and, you know, grew up in Altadena, California, Pasadena, basically, you know, Upper Pasadena. And yeah.
Well, your whole family is actually musicians, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You mentioned your dad.
Mother's a concert pianist. My
Yeah.
brother's a cellist. My sister's a violinist, you know. And yeah, so it's very much, you know, there's some households that have, you know, athleticism is like the main thing, you know, everyone played a sport in the family, or everyone played it, you know, an instrument, everyone made it a career, you know, so it was sort of like hard to escape that sort of being the destiny, you know, my destiny. And really on a daily basis, just watching my sister play, you know, practice her instrument for like 8 hours a day was something that inspired me. I want to go in there and be good at an instrument too. So, you know, whether it was the keyboard or my drums, you know, those were my first two instruments, was a drum set and playing a synthesizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess you started singing around 8 years old?
Yeah, that's right when I you know, picked up the keyboard for the first time. I was around 8 and started to make songs and, of course, singing, you know, but really, you know, primarily making beats, beating on anything I could, tables or whatever, and you know, and playing the piano and singing. Yeah, right away.
So I mean, you have these parents that are professional musicians.
Yeah.
You know, like I know how badly I sing. You know, because I actually have, you know, as a DJ, you have an ear for music, and I know exactly how bad I am. So you started singing. And did your parents kind of like start to mold you a little bit? Like, oh no, do this different and do this, breathe a little different here and whatever? Or was it kind of just natural for you?
You know what's interesting is my parents are classically trained musicians. They're classical musicians by all means. So their world isn't the commercial music world. It's not the, you know, the jazz, the hip hop, the R&B, the rock, whatever else that's in my world. So it was very much a self-taught kind of like, you know, what was intuitive to me, you know, and really learning by ear, you know, showing myself. My mom she's actually a piano teacher, and at a young age she was my first, you know, learning how to play my first chords and whatnot. But she would try to put pieces in front of me where she thought I was reading the music, but I was really just memorizing the way the song went. And she said, play this part right here. And I don't know what that part is. She caught me one day, and you know, but yeah, I taught myself how to play, you know, and from that point it began to be something that was more of a visceral thing, like sit down at the piano and make myself feel a certain type of way, you know, like okay, I'm feeling like this right now. And that was a great escape as a young kid. I'm sure I pissed off a lot of my friends because I'd go over to their houses if they had a piano, instead of playing outside and, you know, doing whatever else that most kids do. I'd be stuck on the piano in their house, you know, and they'd, man, all he wants to do is play the piano when he comes over. You know what I'm saying? So, young age, man, right away with the music.
And were you taking to R&B early or not really? Because I mean, you and I are right around the same age. Like, you know, hip hop was starting to form around that time. You didn't really have white R&B singers, really.
Nah.
You're talking about the 80s.
It was sort of like, it was very, very kind of cutting the line between pop and, like, you know, Hall & Oates didn't really count, you know what I mean? Because it was very much, they kind of like,
even though Daryl Hall was real,
kind of a thing.
Daryl Hall was really soulful singer.
Same with Michael McDonald, and you know.
But they were doing pop music.
Yeah, it was very much pop. Even with George Michael's, it was very much pop.
True.
So there wasn't any sort of like R&B, you know, as they say, blue-eyed soul singers back then.
Right.
So, but interesting enough, I was very, very much influenced by Michael Jackson early on. I was very influenced by groups like Duran Duran early on, with this video age, the brand new, you know, idea of videos being on TV. Oh, wow, like, you know, wow, what is that? It's a music video. And we were at the dawn of that, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a new sort of thing that was very exciting to watch a song come to life in a visual. And that gave us so much imagination at a young age. That was really what pushed me along in terms of really made me say, well, first of all, my favorite band was Duran Duran, because my sister grew up, that was her favorite band. She's 3 years older than me, and of course, she's listening to that. She's going, oh my God, this is the most amazing music you've ever heard. And I said, who is that? You know, check them out. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Of course, you know, and the same goes for Michael Jackson. So these bands kind of drew me in, and I got into Earth, Wind & Fire, I got into the Bee Gees, I got into Rod Stewart, I got into Donna Summer. And I kind of picked up things from each of these, you know, these musicians. It was, I think, melodic things, rhythmic things, ways that they sang. You know, by the time I got to Luther Vandross and Marvin Gaye, I was already so filled up with, you know, inspiration from these other, you know, bands that, you know, my musical sort of influence was very, very, very wide for my age. At, you know, by the time I started really recording music at like 10, 11 years old, I was very well versed in a great deal of styles, you know.
Okay, so you're already recording it at 10 years old.
Absolutely, making
like
tapes.
4-track, I guess?
Yeah, I was recording on a little Tascam 4-track recorder and taking the tapes and selling them at school for $5. You know,
you were selling your own stuff?
Yeah, it was actually.
People were buying it?
It was all my friends, you know, that wanted to support me. Hey, can I get one of those tapes? You know, I'll pay you next week. It's like, oh yeah, okay, cool, man. Yeah.
Okay, so you're recording at 10. And I guess you ended up going to LA County High School for Performing Arts.
Yeah. So, yeah, my early on experiences with music, first initial real sort of like push off was a faith, act of faith, leap of faith, was the 8th grade talent show at my middle school, which was judged by the group Troop from Pasadena. Steve Russell is a good friend of mine still to this day, and he's the lead singer of the group Troop. And we were just talking about this the other day, that he was the judge and the group, and they allowed me to win at that talent show. So that was sort of like the first initial thing to let me know, like, wow, I could do this. You know, I could perform in front of an audience and watch my friends go crazy, and I could still hold it together. And I kind of had the gall to do that, you know. And that was the first time ever doing that, so that was exciting. And then from that point on, I think the talent show thing began to be something that was a way for me to get my foot in the door and let people know, hey, I'm you know, writing my music, I'm producing, and I'm performing my music. So it was a little different for me to kind of set my keyboards up on stage and have like a couple synthesizers and a drum machine. Like, they knew that I meant business when I pulled up for the sound check, and all the other kids were like lip syncing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we're really professional at this, you know, at a young age, and I just really took it seriously right away. So by the time, you know, senior year of high school came, and all my, you know, teachers at the, you know, academically, they were basically saying, "Hey, it doesn't look good for you, kid. You better, you know, you better do something good."
College is not in your future.
Yeah, you know, and my dad was like, you know, yeah, you got to get a record deal, you know, because it's, what are you gonna do, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, I plan to come back with a record deal. And so that year was really real for me. I turned 18 my senior year of high school, and it was very, very cool because I was able to write myself out of class and go shop my CD down, you know, my tapes down. Back then it was cassettes, y'all. So, you know, we had cassettes and CDs to shop. But, you know, we were, I was waiting in the lobbies of a lot of these labels and just waiting for someone to get out for their lunch break so I could meet them in the hallway just casually and say, hey, you know, I'm Jonathan. I used to call myself Jonathan B back then. I was trying to, you know, that seemed a little more professional to me. Then later they shortened that. But yeah, man, you know, I was able to get into the door of Babyface, you know, and Tracy Edmonds, and that was, you know, what sent this whole thing, you know, off.
Okay.
Yeah.